Alright, Infernal Blessings. Back with another video. I'm ready to do my regular Thursday routine. 9 rounds, kickbox fitness, and a little weights at Planet Fitness afterwards. So, I should be able to at least get 2 more of these uploads in. I think what I'm going to focus on the next couple of videos, we'll see, unless it changes. I'll do like a deity series now. Go through some of the key demons and spirits on this path and just go through a breakdown of them. But before I do that, some quick announcements. For those that always email me, how do I sign up for your classes? How can I take your classes? This, that, and the third. Again, best way to do that is, well, really the way to do that is to go to the official Primordial Chaos Patreon page, which can be located at patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti. That's patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti. Tier 3 is the way you want to go. That'll give you access to the 3 private classes I do on Patreon every month for Patreon members only, and it'll also give you access to the group ritual we do together at the end of the month. That's patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti, Tier 3. And again, there's a bunch of ongoing classes, series, Luciferian Magic and Self-Mastery class, Clipothic Sorcery class, there's Sith classes, Ancient Egyptian Vampiric classes on there. These are all ongoing series. Kundalini Meditation and Awakening class, Shadow Work classes, which we're, I think, approaching number 18 for next month, or 19. I mean, you name it. There's pretty much Eastern Left-Hand Path, Occult class. I mean, you name it, there's nothing we're not really covering there that you can't find on there. So check that out. Also, if you're interested in a spiritual reading or a consultation, the type of readings I do offer are Clipothic demonic readings. I also offer Santa Muerte readings, Egyptian oracle readings. I'm not sure if I mentioned that already. Sorry, I got distracted there for a quick second. Shadow work readings, which, as I've said many times before, is a great place to start, especially when you're looking for guidance, or you're not sure what direction you should be going in, or what kind of ritual work should I be doing at this moment in my life, etc. A shadow work reading is a great place for that. Deity readings, to see what type of spirits, gods, and goddesses walk with you to help assist you and strengthen your relationship with them, not to worship them, and to strengthen your connection on this path. For a full list of readings and information on how to book a consultation or a reading, shoot me an email at khnum19@gmail.com. That email is in the description box of this video. Also, the 6th annual Journey of the Black Adept Conference is in full effect. So you can definitely sign up and register for that, either virtually or in person. It's a 4-day event in person, meet and greet on Thursday evening, classes on classes, workshops, presentations on Friday and Saturday from 9 to 4 p.m., followed by a group ritual both evenings on Friday and Saturday night afterwards. And then we follow that up on both nights with a group dinner, some socializing, hanging out, listening to music, kicking it, fun, all that good shit. All right, and then Sunday the event closes out from noon to 4 p.m. I'll be doing a question and answer class, and that, again, closes the event out. That's the 6th annual Journey of the Black Adept Conference, live. If you want to come in person, Hollywood, Florida, Cultural Expressions, October 19th to the 22nd. You could also attend virtually. That'll give you access to the 3 days of classes on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So shoot me an email and I'll get that information over to you. And also remember, all this new content is being uploaded to the Primordial Chaos podcast, which can be found on Spotify and all major podcast platforms. And the direct link to that podcast is also in the description box of this video. All right, having said that, I want to talk about, depending on how you pronounce it, Hecate or Hecate, it just depends on how you pronounce it. It can be pronounced both ways. Who and what is Hecate? okay? Because as I've said over the years, when it comes to goddesses, say Kali, Lilith, Hecate, etc., there are new age models of those goddesses that have really become more popular and mainstream and have come to the surface over the years. All right, so I want to be clear that we're differentiating between how we work with Hecate on the left-hand path of the occult, our perspective, what she represents, as opposed to some of the mainstream new age, more right-hand path philosophy, fluffy stuff, for lack of a better word. All right, she has her origin in Greek mythology. They refer to her in if you've just studied standard Greek mythology, as a goddess of magic, or witchcraft, or the higher arts or sciences. But you're not going to get the definition of her, the aspect of her, of how we so-called work with her on the left-hand path or the occult. Now, most of the information that you will find mainstream on Hecate is Greek mythology. So I would tell you, as a left-hand path practitioner, that's not going to really do anything for you. It's just basic information, nowhere in alignment with how we work ritualistically with Hecate, what she represents, and how we connect with her. So on the left-hand path and the occult, in my experience and what's out there, the draconian tradition probably has the most effective occult left-hand pathway to connect with Hecate. Because understand, a lot of those gods and goddesses in Greek mythology and other cultures, remember, they took from cultures prior to it and just synchronized the meanings and the representations of some of these gods and goddesses. Hecate is a very dark, powerful sorceress. We look at her as the goddess of witchcraft, magic, and sorcery in the occult of left-hand path. Some even refer to her as one of the queens of hell, right? Because of her being a key component to connecting, like many of the other spirits, with the void and the abyss. Now, what Hecate really does is, now you'll sometimes see her depicted as the triple moon goddess, right? You'll see her depicted with, you'll see illustrations and drawings of her sometimes with 3 different female, she might have 3 heads, or, or the personification of drawing of 3 kind of females merged together, which the triple moon goddess takes on a bunch of different meanings and aspects. But some of the inner, deeper understanding of Hecate, she will bridge what I like to term, in my experience, and I can only share my experience when it comes to ritual work. And again, what I'm saying is not the tell-all be-all. You might have had somebody watching this might do work with Hecate and had a completely different experience, and that's fine. That's okay. But the triple moon goddess, to me, and my understanding, I got it in my ritual work, and again, it's my personal understanding, she bridges the 3 aspects of the self. As I said, like with the bafflement and the concept as above, so below, so within, so without. So Hecate bridges the above and the below, not because literally there's this concept of the above and the below and they're separate places. We have to get that out of our head and our minds, because it's incorrect information. Now, there's such thing, you'll hear terms in different paths, the ascent to the underworld, or the descent to the underworld. There's this term ascending and descending, right? And we have to look at this in context. As I said, what we're calling the spiritual world, if we're dealing with the inner, deep aspects of our subconscious mind, the void and the abyss of the subconscious mind, okay, the spirit, what we're terming the spirit world, right? Or the spirit realm. I'm just using terms that's easy for people to connect with. Because again, these are quick tutorials to go through this stuff. Okay? The spirit realms are interwoven around you. So when we're getting a better understanding of that, as above, so below, what you think is above and what you think is below is actually within. That's why that third part of that statement, which nobody really dwells upon as much, as above, so below, as within, so without. There's a saying also in the Bible that says the kingdom of heaven resides within you. So these realms exist within you, okay? Now, when you have what you're interpreting or experiencing, I should say, interpreting is the wrong word, of an out-of-body experience, and you're leaving your body, you're still within that paradigm of those realms that are interwoven around you, even if it's creating or you're interpreting the experience as a form of ascension or descension, okay? Hecate helps you connect to those abodes, those different chambers or hells or havens of your subconscious mind. She can be very, I don't want to say vicious, but she will make sure before you enter her chamber. Some have done, and you'll see ritual work in different books, where going in through the chamber, or some might refer to it as a cave, a tunnel that Hecate guards to the entrance of the underworld. Some have described her guarding those gates with what we would describe as kind of animals that look like dogs that are very vicious and protective. She does, in a lot of cases, require it because it's a very powerful offering for her blood offering, right? And I want to make this clear as I shoot this video. Anybody that does blood offering work, please do it safely, okay? And there's multitude of ways to do it, but do it safely. Be careful, because a lot of those ritual themes you get online and places, they're not really made for that, right? Some use lancets. It's not required to do anything. I gotta address this because unfortunately sometimes people do stupid shit. But long story short, use a blood drawing tool that's very safe and effective and works. That's all I gotta say on that. But Hecate, when connecting with her, that is one of the most, with a lot of spirits, but with her, it tends to be even more of a powerful tool that can enhance your connection with her. So I'm not telling you what you should or should not do, because as I've said before, I don't tell people what they should or should not do. Now, if you're not, or don't have any experience working with her in this form or aspect, like I say with many other spirits, a great way to get acclimated with a demon or a spirit or a god or a goddess is do stuff like sigil meditations, simple invocations, because Hecate can be very intense. She will focus strongly inwardly to start working on things about yourself, your shortcomings, things that maybe you have failed, like a lot of other spirits do. Remember, anytime you work with these dark gods and goddesses of the void and the abyss, always keep in mind you are bringing things up that are ingrained deeply in your subconscious mind. So she will also make you face a lot of fears, things that have maybe terrorized you or feared you, not just on a physical level, right? On a mental and emotional level. Maybe there's things you feared spiritually that you've been avoiding for a long time. I would say the stuff that Hecate really uncovers is on a really deep interior subconscious level, right? Again, from my experience, personal emotional fears, she will tackle the mystery of this thing called life and death and our lack of understanding of it, because even some of us who are quote unquote on the path of self-mastery, the occult, or the left-hand path, some of us still have a twisted understanding of it that's still rooted in fear. Okay? And we're talking about fear that's deeply ingrained subconsciously. So always keep in mind, if you're working with Hecate or demons like Hecate, remember, you are willingly making an attempt to open yourself up. And that's what I keep telling people. And this is why this is not a path where you can dibble and dabble, right? You don't do that on this path. I'm talking about when you go into doing real intense work, right? It's not something, well, I'm gonna see and I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do the basics before you do that, like I said a minute or two ago. Get acclimated. That's how you'll know. And sometimes people do that and they feel a strong connection. It motivates them to move forward. Sometimes people do it and they tap in and they go, nah, I'm not feeling this. It's not for me. It doesn't feel right. It can go either way, is what I'm saying. But when you get into dark occult work, it's not like it's something you just want to dibble dabble in, because always know you are opening yourself up to connect with those energies, period. And you should be confident and certain, because it's going to open you up one way or the other, whether you don't want it to or not. It's not like you can do a working with Hecate and she starts to open aspects of your subconscious mind and it's just going to stop right out the gate. No. So she's pretty intense of the way she goes to work from the inside out. She will also make you face failures and weaknesses, right? Make you see things maybe you thought that you were seeing right. And that can be a wake-up call on a multitude of levels. That can be a serious wake-up call. She can be, and again, I can only describe it from my experience, and I want to be clear. I'm sure there's multiple people who have worked, could have had similar experiences or completely different from mine. I have to stress that. This is not the tell-all. I'm doing videos. You know, if I'm talking about a deity, obviously I'm talking about from my own personal experience, right? When, one connects with the void and the abyss, whether it's with Hecate or any of these spirits, right? As I said, when I go back to what I personally grasp from her, her triple moon goddess aspect, it was merging. It made me realize that all things exist and really have their roots center when we get to the understanding of what the heart chakra. Now, I've done a lot of work with Hecate to understand some of it was very graphic, literally. In some visualizations, she can change the root seat of your heart emotions via the heart chakra by literally completely removing the heart from your body. Very graphic visualizations, because sometimes our hearts are so corrupted by all of the toxic thoughts that we've taken in. And if our root seed power, especially in our ritual work and things of that nature, comes from the heart's chakra, right? Which is where you get your passion, your desire, your raw emotions on all level. Sometimes that can get so fucked up, out of whack and out of alignment, it disconnects you when you hear me say terms over the years like you must be grounded in your emotions. That's what I mean. Well, Hecate will ground you in your emotions. She will make you understand sometimes emotions like anger and rage, hate and love, we're misinterpreting them. But sometimes we can love somebody and confuse that for loving what they do for us. Sometimes we don't have a good understanding of what triggers us and can get us angry. We think we do, but we don't go to the root cause of what triggers, say, that anger. So in my experience connecting with Hecate, which was, I don't know if complex is the right word, when I first started really working with her on a more occult left-hand path level, probably going back about 5-6 years or more, that was a little complex for me. Trying to assimilate my emotions. When we say be connected to your thoughts, your feelings, and your emotions, not no fucking, sympathetic sad, depressive way, or a way where you need people to have sympathy or feel sorry for you and play the role of victim. Not that way. Be connected to your emotions and grounded in them to understand them and why, what triggers them, why you experience it, but to sort them out and get to the root cause of what's the key component of what activates your response to certain things. Because if we all look at things in life, there's certain things that piss us off, trigger us. We've inherited certain behavior and characteristics along the way. But why? Right? Why? It's deeper when you just get it. It's deeper to say it goes beyond just saying, I have a short temper, or I'm impatient. We all have these problems, or I lack patience. But the question is understanding why. And sometimes it's a little bit deeper. So on a mental level, I can tell you, in my opinion, Hecate was very challenging, because it's going to really test. And it's like almost, it's crazy, because almost as I'm doing this video talking about her, I could, without sounding, I'm not a spooky dude, but I can feel her working in my head, and this is why she's kind of mellowing me out, because it's not an easy path when you're connecting and working with her. It's very challenging, especially when it comes to the fear part, right? We've all inherited some phobias or fears along the way. Now, for an example, let's just say there's some people who have serious phobias or fears of snakes or things like that. It's very common to be in a ritual working with her and feel so intensely like there's snakes crawling over your body, attacking you, biting you. She's very good at reading, because remember, if we refer to her as the goddess of witchcraft, sorcery, and magic, she also has those high divination powers to tap in when it comes to things like extrasensory perception, psychic thoughts, all of these different things. It's a very, very intense feeling, okay? So that probably one of the main things that stands out to me is mastering your fears or phobias with Hecate. She will test you to the limits. If there's something you're terrified of, she will put you to that test to the 10th power, okay? But again, to sum it up towards the end, and again, remember, there's so much more, but these are just quick tutorials. But to sum it up, because I have arrived at my destination, the thing that definitely, again, stands out to me is conquering your fears with Hecate, in my experience. People could have other aspects. It's a very deep form of shadow work, because in my opinion, working with any god or goddess of the void and the abyss, and ritual work as a whole have different levels of uncovering the shadow or the hidden self. Everything you do ritualistically, but there's different layers and levels to it. That's the difference. And Hecate has her own level, 100%. Okay, definitely has her her own level, 100%. So those are the things you just need to be conscious or aware of. And again, you know, you might have your own experience on a whole different level, but that's the purpose of doing ritual work. So, long story short, I just wanted to make sure we were clear on differentiating between what we know on the surface in Greek mythology of Hecate. That's not really what we're talking about on the path of the occult. Now, some good references, again, I can give you. Hecate, again, there's not a lot of occult left-hand path stuff. Look in the Draconian tradition. Look in some of the works of Kenneth Grant. Look in Asenath Mason, has a great book on Hecate. Look in those. Now, there's another, but be careful, it's very intense. I think it's Mark Allen Henry, Hecate, the Queen of Hell. The book is out of print. There's a few hard copies circulating for, again, like ridiculous amount of money. But that is a very dark, deep aspect that he comes with in the book, The Queen of Hell. That really, in my opinion, is not beginner work. I would start with some of the basics if you really want to connect with Hecate. And because she has a very similar Lilith, Naama type of energy. They vibrational frequency wise, they can feel the same. And one thing you get very experienced with and seasoned on this path, and I just want to make that clear, every one of these spirits or demon has their own unique vibrational energy that you could feel, and you can just immediately recognize when you connect. And it's almost amazing how it's so distinct that you're able to detect it. I'll talk a little bit about that more as we go through some of these videos. All right, but let me leave that there. Let me get in here and get my exercise on. I'll shoot another video going to my next destination. I'll pick a deity. I don't know what it is. I'll pick one of them. See what comes to me while I'm doing this. But again, if you need to reach out to me for a spiritual consultation or a reading, hit me up at khnum19@gmail.com, and I'll send you that info. Also, again, if you want to sign up for any of the private classes I offer on Patreon, which I do 3 a month, that's the way to sign up for my classes. Go to patreon.com/Baniti, BANITI, join Tier 3. That will give you access to the 3 private classes I do every month on Patreon, in addition to the group ritual we do at the end of the month. If you need information on the 6th annual Journey of the Black Adept Conference on how to sign up, again, shoot me an email, which is in the description box of the video. Also, all this content is being uploaded to the Primordial Chaos podcast, which can be found on Spotify and all major podcast platforms. And the direct link to the podcast is also in the description box of this video. All right, other than that, infernal blessings. I'll see you guys on the next one. We'll talk soon.